Despite Trump's claims that the world respects us again now that he's in office, here's a smattering of what it looked like when Trump appeared at the UN General Assembly today, starting with a few technical difficulties that fit quite neatly into his perpetual victimhood shtick.
You're going to push Zelensky for peace, President Trump.
President Trump.
And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
And that was all a point that you better believe Trump was hell-bent on publicly complaining about.
No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much. And by the way, it's working now. It just went on. Thank you. I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much.
Just a quick reminder that this is the President of the United States, the most powerful person in the world, and he is so comfortable being in the fetal position that with the literal eyes of the world on him, he is whining about an escalator. I understand that working class Americans might think that they have it hard, but maybe those people should try and put themselves in Trump's shoes and just imagine what it must be like to encounter a malfunctioning teleprompter. Suddenly your lives don't seem so difficult, huh? Granted, that was actually the high point, because in true Trumpian fashion, it devolved from there.
You have to end it now. See, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
There's that unifier-in-chief telling the rest of the world that their countries are going to hell, which is rich considering this guy is currently presiding over an economy where Moody's warns that 1/3 of the country is already in a recession and another 1/3 is stagnating. A country where Trump himself is neutering the courts, sending the military to battle its own citizens, and demanding that his Department of Justice prosecute his political opponents. But sure, it's the rest of the world that's going to hell. Got it. And so given the ways in which Trump is presiding over this country, the speech goes in a very predictable direction.
Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit, everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with their mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars.
The Nobel Peace Prize, which, to be clear, he definitely totally doesn't want, because the true prize for Donald J. Trump is just the knowledge that families will stay together. Except, of course, the families in the United States that he's ripping apart with ICE, because despite his campaign promises to go after hardened criminals, he figured it was easier to just go after anyone with brown skin in this country. But, where was I? Oh, right, the Nobel Peace Prize. But once he was finished awarding himself various honors, he used the opportunity to dip his toes into some physics, or something resembling physics.
We have a border, strong, and we have a shape. And that shape doesn't just go straight up. That shape is amorphous when it comes to the atmosphere.
I'll bet when you were watching him bitch and moan about the escalator and the teleprompter, you didn't think that would be the high-water mark of the speech now, did you? Little did you know that Trump would eventually use the phrase, "that shape is amorphous" when it comes to the atmosphere. And look, you might think that Trump was there to brag, but I want to assure you that this was 100% not about bragging.
If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said during the campaign they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail.
Again, when Trump says that he was right about everything, he's not saying it in a braggadocious way, he's saying it in a modest way. Frankly, I don't even know how you could misinterpret "I was right about everything" to come across in a way that isn't humble. And not that it matters to a self-deprecating guy like Donald, but aside from promising that costs would go down, groceries would be cheaper, the Epstein files would be released, the Russia-Ukraine war would end on day one, inflation would fall, manufacturing would surge, and the economy would boom, he was totally right about everything. Again, not that it matters or anything. And I presume the same people who told him that he was right about everything also gave him this news about his polling.
I was very proud to see this morning I have the highest poll numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done in the economy.
So that we're clear, Trump literally has the lowest polling right now of his second term. He's at 54% disapprove, 42% prove. That is a negative 12-point approval rating. He's also underwater on literally every single issue, including immigration, inflation, and the economy. So either he's lying or he's being lied to. But either way, not exactly a ringing endorsement of his ability to discern fact from fiction. And look, I think you get it. The UN General Assembly speech was just the latest in a long line of evidence that Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged, increasingly desperate, and increasingly detached from reality. And it's not just Americans who can see it now. It is the entire world watching the United States devolve deeper and deeper into a state of disrepair at the hands of an unglued autocrat who thinks that the sun and moon revolve around him. Our only saving grace is that the more he speaks, the less popular he becomes. And for a guy who has an insatiable appetite for attention, that only suggests things are going to get worse for him as time goes on. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.